Well, President Obama did it again, snubbing Congress. The president making another change to Obamacare and bypassing Congress. The constant changes and waivers lead to lots of confusion for millions of Americans.
We understood from the start that there were going to be some challenges in terms of transition.
At first, the White House refusing to budge on Obamacare. But now the Obama administration is making its own major changes to the law, again and again. The Obama administration announcing another major delay to the employer mandate. It exempts firms with 50 to 100 employees until 2016. The delay only applies to companies that will not fire workers to avoid Obamacare costs.
To avoid Obamacare costs, you have to promise, you have to swear under oath that you're not trying to avoid Obamacare costs. And everybody's trying to avoid Obamacare costs. That's why they're being waived. They're punitive.
We knew that there were going to be some bumps and transitions in that process, and that's what we're working with all the stakeholders involved to address.
On the record, uncovering at least 24 delays and fixes that the administration has made to the law, all of it leading to confusion and controversy. First, July 5th, the Obama administration delaying income verification for people getting insurance subsidies until 2015. Then, September 30th, the Office of Personnel Management issuing a statement announcing new and special subsidies for Congress and its staff to buy insurance on exchanges.
If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. If you like your health care plan, you can keep your health care plan.
He deliberately misled, deceived the American people about whether or not they could keep their health care.
Then the president delaying minimum requirements for insurance plans, allowing insurers to reissue plans to customers who lost them.
Already, people who have plans that predate the Affordable Care Act can keep those plans if they haven't changed. Today, we're going to extend that principle both to people whose plans have changed since the law took effect.
But even that wasn't enough.
This does little or nothing for people who've had their plans canceled. Look, these plans have gone away.
Well, I appreciate his apology, but it still just doesn't help our situation right now.
On December 19th, the Obama administration delaying the individual mandate for a year for people who lost their insurance because of Obamacare. And that's not all. On the record finding at least 29 major changes the administration made to the health care law. Critics are attacking the changes, claiming they are arbitrary and unconstitutional.
This is way beyond the banana republic now. This is Stalinism. This is sheer brazen lawlessness.
This is the very definition of lawlessness and something that the American people do not tolerate and will not tolerate.
But President Obama says he doesn't need Congress, even threatening to veto legislation that he considers unnecessary. But Democratic leadership claims President Obama is simply doing what Republicans want.
This is something they've been asking for. Now he does it, they're complaining. I mean, this is somewhat illogical.
And Senator John Thune says the latest delay proves the White House knows Obamacare is killing the economy. Senator Thune joins us.
Good evening, Greta.
Good evening. So what do you think about this last change?
The president said the other day that their goal is not to punish folks. Which I think they're admitting right there that they know how punishing this is to the American people. And these delays really are an abuse of power. If you look at now 28 different delays, all the other things that the president is doing to get around Congress, to be able to implement his agenda. And in most cases, they know, in this case at least, that there are two reasons. One is economically, it's hurting people, and so that's why they're doing the delays. And secondly, they know it's hurting them politically. And they've got a lot of senators that are up for re-election in November that they're trying to protect.
So what are you going to do? That's the first question, because I know that a lot of Republicans complain about it, and it is true that the law that was passed a couple years ago and what is now being enforced, or what's left of it right now with waivers, exemptions, and all that is vastly different. Are you going? Can you do anything about it? And are you going to do anything about it?
Well, what we'd like to do, and of course, we don't have the. People ask me why can't you do this or why can't you do that, and I tell them, it's a function of math. Either have the votes or you don't. Right now, we don't have the votes, but we would like to undo the whole thing. And what he's doing is kind of undoing it piecemeal along the way, and he's trying to take the parts that he knows are really harmful and harmful politically to him and to his party, party, and I think those are the things that he's trying to address now. But we think that rather than just exempt businesses, in this case, with the employer mandate, why not apply that to families and individuals? Everybody ought to get exempted from this.
I guess sort of the larger question, though, is that, that you're part of the legislative body, you passed a law, and of course the president has some discretion in terms of how a law is enforced. But at some point, you do enough picking and choosing and changing of the law that you're going beyond just sort of using your discretion, that you are actually legislating something the executive branch doesn't have the authority to do. Are you past that point? And if so, are you going to do anything about that?
Well, I think they're way past that point, and I think that we ought to do everything we can to try and rein it in. But to me, what this president has done with this abuse of power is basically saying, I'm above the law. Now, I've heard Democrats tell me all the time when Republicans say we need to repeal the law because it's bad for the economy, it hurts jobs, people's premiums and deductibles are going up. They'll say, well, it's the law of the land, we need to fix it. That's not what they're doing here.
Well, Congress maybe should fix it. I mean, if it needs to be fixed, that's sort of your
job.
Sure,
and we've had the House has passed, I think, 40 different times. I've had 33 votes on repealing all or parts of this thing, but we don't have the votes in the Senate, and we need a Congress and a president that respects the law, and if they want to make changes in a law that isn't working, and clearly this isn't, to come back to Congress and try and fix it that way rather than going around it, which is exactly what they're doing today.
Senator, always nice to see you, sir.
Nice to see you. Thanks, Greta.